I'm Gacha J, and this is your home for Gacha news, analysis, and reviews. That's right, we're covering some cookie madness today. Let's do it. You don't like this game, you're a cake eater. You know what we say about cake eaters? Generally, they're pretty swell people. Let's go through some quick tips and reviews as a new player in this here cookie cutter game. The first tip that you need to know about this game is that you are playing a game about cookies and cake. Stop trying so hard, have some fun. Now, the game will give you quite a few free heroes. Snow Sugar Cookie here being one of the only few epics that they will actually give you for free. They'll also give you Custard Cookie, who is pretty good, but surprisingly, you have no idea what the skill actually does here when you go to upgrade it. Same for other champions like Bard's Song. You'll also get GingerBrave to start out the game, and you'll get a lot of the promotion necessities to level up him to, I think, about 3 stars. Yeah, the wizard here at 3 stars. You get them at 3 stars through the campaign itself. You also get Wizard Cookie here for free. And I believe you get Angel Cookie for free as well. Of the commons that you get in the game, the only one worth noting is Angel Cookie. I don't have mine leveled up, but that's only because I got a better healer early on. But if you do not have a dedicated healer, Angel Cookie is a really freaking good option. She's one of the few that gives you a really strong AoE heal pretty often, 15 seconds here. Now, another quick tip here is that you see that it stores with attack, so you may be tempted that once you unlock your toppings, which are basically like runes in other games, and you can start choosing different buffs and things like that to come in here and go, oh, I need to do the cooldown reduction so that they can constantly do it as often as they want, or maybe I should get something like HP percent or defense. I've actually crunched a lot of mine, so you can't see all of the options, but I think one of the ones that people get baited by the most for these is like Amplify Buff, thinking that that'll be the increase the healing that's actually done. The way you increase the healing is to actually stack attack on it. When you actually break down the math of this, it will show you that you will get more healing per second by increasing the attack than reducing the cooldown. I've done that for a number of the healing champions, and it's been consistently true. And the last of which that you get for free is Strawberry Cookie. But again, the only one that's worth noting is the Angel Cookie. Now let's jump straight into the gacha pools here. So you see here we have the featured cookie of the Espresso right now. I'm not sure what the banner is that you will see when you join the game, but Espresso is a really good cookie, so I would make sure that after looking at a tier list or something like that, if it's a good cookie, I would roll on the banner until you get 1 or 2 of that cookie. Generally, you want at least 1 star of that unit. I'll explain why you want that star in just a second. And then here's your generic banner, which is cookies. Every single day you get daily gifts, and you can roll for treasures as well. Treasures is a very, very good cost-effective way to increase your power through your crystals. Now, I say that because the probabilities of these are actually really low. Don't be baited about the things at the top. You see it says 19.88% to get an epic. That includes things like these epic shards where you have an 8.2% to get a single cookie shard, and a shard is not very helpful. Maybe you catched onto it earlier, but you needed quite a few of these shards to get them up. Right now I need 50 of the shards for Espresso to get her to a star 3. Actually, fun fact, Espresso is a boy. I get that wrong every single time, along with Custard. For whatever reason, I thought Custard was a girl, not a girl. And as I mentioned, your treasures are super strong because the commons that you get down here, you will get this one as a freebie from the game, which increases the coins that you get by 47%. Don't worry about that one. The other 2 here are ridiculously strong for a common. See here, the Squishy Jelly Watch gives you a cooldown percentage. I think it starts at 13. I have it all the way up to 15.6 right now. The next level will be 17. And then the other common here is Gatekeeper's Ghost Horn, which gives you straight defensive percentage, which is super, super strong. The attack variant of it is one of the epics, which is the rarest treasure that we can get right now. Based off of the lore of the game, it looks like we will be getting legendaries of these things, so keep that in mind as you save. And the way you can think about these is that these common cookies are passive buffs that you can always stack onto it. Other than the Scythe here, which gives you flat crit, the rest of them are very, very situationally applied. So they seem to be more targeted towards boss runs and specifically. And then your other epics here have varying abilities to it. So the epic that I use the most is it gives attack, or it does an AoE attack of 22% of your party's total damage over time. And then it does, this one here revives the first dead enemy. And then as we saw down here, invulnerability for 2 seconds. So that's a quick little rundown of treasures. Treasures are a very cost-effective way using your crystals to be guaranteed to improve your team with each crystal usage, which is very, very low percentage chance with the Gacha rolls. But unfortunately, the epic cookies in this game are very, very mandatory. They're very much stronger than the other options in the game. There are very much rare options in the game that are good, but for right now, these epic cookies are the way to go. So you'll be rolling on these Gacha banners until you have a team of 5 epics, and then at that point you can try to move forward. Be sure to set up your team in a way that makes a little bit of sense. We can come in here and we can talk about team comp a little bit. So the way that I have my team set up is I have this Madeline cookie up front. He is my frontliner, followed by Espresso and Mushroom, and then my backline is Carrot Cookie and Sparkling Cookie. I am in the process of replacing Carrot Cookie and Sparkling Cookie with Pomegranate and Dark Choco, but I don't have the necessary ingredients to level them up, which we will get into resource management here in a little bit. But generally the typical is you want to think through the opportunity that the front line buys you. So if you have somebody like a Milk or somebody with a Taunt, you can think about stacking multiple in the front line here and using just one healer. I'm using Madeline, which is a pushback tanker. Every time he does an auto attack with his ult activated, he pushes him back a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do mass AoE, and I'm using Carrot Cookie as a means to increase the party defense because I don't truly have anybody taunting. So that means I'm going to have more damage leakage to the backline, and then Sparkling here increases my team's critical attack rate. So I'm using Mushroom and Espresso in their AoE abilities to truly do the majority of the damage of this team, while Madeline just keeps pushing them off me the best that he can. A very strong early build that I recommend people go is if you have Knight, run Knight. You will get Custard Cookie for free, and then you can decide between one of these two. If you have Princess Cookie, she's strong, and if you have Avocado, that's strong as well. We will remove Princess so Knight can walk up here. And then Cherry Cookie is a very, very strong rare option. You could run something like this very, very effectively through a lot of the game. Essentially what you're doing is you are using the stun and AoE of Cherry and the AoE and defense of Carrot Cookie with a little bit of heal alongside Custard's shield and heal and Avocado's AoE attack. This isn't a strong team by any measures, but this will get you a ton of crystals in the early game by allowing you to power through. Other pretty strong rares that you will get but aren't guaranteed to have right off the bat are things like Blackberry Cookie right here, though I'm not the biggest fan of it. I've seen it been used to excess. I think Alchemist Cookie is like the cheap version of Mushroom Cookie, who I'm a very, very strong fan of. And let's see here. I've already mentioned Angel to you. And past that, I really think that Clover is strong, and that's about it for the rares that I truly can recommend to you. Gumball, Adventurer here, they're not really my favorites. None of the other commons are worth talking about outside of Angel. Onion isn't that great, and that's all of them but Pancake Cookie, and Pancake Cookie is pretty strong as well. So let's get into the actual combat in which you can expect to see once you get into the stage itself. Let's get rid of that in favor. Yep. There we go. So it's pretty important to note what your team does to determine how exactly you want to go about playing it. So my team right now is set up as an all AoE damage team, so I can actually just throw it on auto, and if I could beat it, I likely will. The reason why this is strong for my team is because if an ability is up, they're 99%, I'm going to be using it. But if you're using someone like Cherry, using auto will really backfire on you because Cherry has a very dedicated short-winded stun, and if that stun does not land when you need it to, you can lose a lot of capability. So there are definitely teams and heroes that you do not want to be on auto for. So last few little things that we need to go through while we're here. We've already touched on promotions a little bit, but promotions give you the largest jump in ability score, power score that you will actually see elsewhere. Generally, you can see boosts of like 20 attack being pretty high in this game, so getting to a promotion and it being like 300 attack is very, very substantial. So stars are very important. You often may even want to buy shards in order to promote the heroes that you have instead of getting heroes that you are missing. So if you have a good team, be sure to be using your resource to get shards and not new options as well, other than Madeline. And Madeline is a really rare condition in my case, which I will have a video breaking down this really awkward build and why I have it this way, giving a tank attack speed. But if we're here in the bonds, which is again down here at the bottom left, you'll see that in in these things, it says meet 5 cookies, meet 5 cookies, promote to 1 star. Essentially, this is like a book to where if you improve all of the heroes that you get in the game, you can get additional stats that apply to all of the characters that you get in the game. And Madeline is probably the most important hero that you can go for in the game because he is actually seen in We've Never Met, Celestial's Guide Me, and the Smithy's Clientele. So essentially, if you were to get Madeline and you focus on getting her stars up, you can come back behind on things like Avocado, which is a rare, and Knight, which is a rare, and Angel, which is a common, and boost their stars up to get an insane amount of statistics. Today, I actually got my Madeline to 1 star, and as a result, I went back and I got 30 attack times 3 and 250 HP times 3, so 750 HP and 90 attack to every character on my team. So Madeline is actually incredibly strong just because of this hidden buff feature. And then there's 2 more things I want to talk about really quickly here, and that is the actual combat boosts that you get from the toppings itself. You will see down here that you see Caramel set in effect, attack speed +1. That is because I have 2 of these attack speeds equipped on this chili pepper cookie here, and it says equip 2 + 1 attack speed, equip 5 + 2 attack speed. So if I was to have 5, it would say 2 instead of 1. So be cautious of that as you move forward, that you want to not be mix and matching, but you want to be trying to go for the largest buffs that you can. I have not ran into a mathematical situation where you actually want to split the cookies. The only way I would see that be done is if you come in here and you upgrade yours and you leave this auto upgrade. You could take it to 6, 9, or 12. If you aren't familiar with a system like that, at 6, 9, or 12, you will get additional stat effects. So if we come here and look at this one, it is +9. At 6, I got crit percentage 1.8, and at 9, I got amplify buff 1.2 on this bouncy caramel medium. If I was to get it to 12, we would see another unlock here, and then I would also get the equip bonuses that we see down here at the bottom if I was to match it with the team, like I've done right here. I have 5 attack speeds, so I get 3 attack speed plus the actual attack speed of 14.3. So all together, I'm getting 17.3 additional attacks or percent attack speed from Madeline's cookies here, as well as these other statistics of a 7.6 crit, 1.6 damage resistance, 2.9 amplify buff, and so on and so on. Now, these secondary statistics are going to be something over time that I want to better fit and prioritize to someone that's a tanker like Madeline is. So I'd want to be seeing defense and HP, maybe more damage resistance and debuff resistance for her, and not things like amplify buff and crit rate. Those aren't really useful. But I'm not truly at the point to where that matters because I only have 1 medium here, which is the epics, and we don't have the legendaries yet. So it's probably best to stockpile and just go with what you have for now, unless you're trying to get super in game. It does cost gold to unequip these, by the way. The stronger the artifact is, or the topping here, the more it'll cost you. Here being a +9 medium, it costs me 20,000 gold to remove. And then here we have skills. As you can see, I need a little bit of gold in these skill books, which you can get from doing the bounty quests every single day, as well as you can get them from doing a couple stages in the campaign or the fountain as well. But generally, you're going to get the bulk of these from completing bounties, as it says here. You could click this button to take you straight to the bounties if you wanted. Today's bounties are defense and magic, and you only get a limited amount of them each day. Tomorrow being Wednesday, ranged powder and bomber. Thursdays being support healing, charge defense, ambush magic, ranged bomber, support healing, and then on Sunday it's all of them. Sundays are a very magical day for collecting skill books. So now a little bit on resource management. There are a couple of structures within the decor that give you very substantial upgrades that you should keep in mind as you're building and planning out your kingdom here. And that is something like this Dreaming Jelly Lion statue. It gives me a flat 5% attack across my account, and this flower garden gives me plus 6% HP. I am saving up the gold for the other options. I have a clock tower that gives me production time -3, and a gumball machine that gives me 1 shard every 24 hours. The gumball machine isn't that great. Maybe if I invest significantly into it over time, it'll get there. But upgrading these things is very costly. Not only does it cost a considerable amount of gold, you have to give it these very precious resources that are used to increase your other buildings at a much higher level. So it's not always worth it here. Some of the things you really need to be prioritizing and making sure that you are making the most of decision-wise in terms of resource management is first and foremost your skill books and your EXP. As you're starting the game, you're going to feel like you have more skill books than you know what to do with. It's same with the experience, but let me tell you, the second that you hit mid-game around chapter 7, maybe even as early as chapter 6, you are really going to feel the lack of EXP, star jellies, and skill books affecting the performance of your team moving forward. So be sure that if you are investing skill books and EXP into a character that you will end up using them. Let me give you a really good example. I invested super heavy into Cherry Cookie, who's a really good cookie. I don't really regret it per se. She helped me get very far, and I know I will use her for a couple stages here in the future where I need her dedicated stun, but I didn't need to get her skill all the way to 24 here because after I got done investing in that, I rolled Mushroom here, who I really wish I could have gotten to 24, who does a considerable amount of damage over time, and they share the same bomber skill types, so that would have been great. Same for, I really wanted to experiment with Clover here, so I spent all the remaining support things here that I had on her, as well as another support tag here on Carrot. I spent all my support books on them, trying to figure out which of those two I wanted to use, and then I rolled Pomegranate. So I really regretted putting skill books into them when the damage profile that they gave me wasn't really necessary for what I wanted to do. So if I come in here and upgrade it, you see it says damage. The best thing you could try to do is try to save the skill books for things that aren't damaged. So if like I come in here and do the heal on her, it would actually increase the healing right here. So it says 16.4, it started at 16. I get over time. And so that's far more efficient for me than getting something like an extra 1% damage on a skill. So be very, very cautious while you're using skill books and EXP. Like I rolled this Dark Choco, he's only level 17 and I barely have any experience for him. I can get him up to 22 right now after being AFK for a bit. We will be getting stronger units over time, so even if you do want to experiment, try to go online and find guides first if you want to before you actually invest in them heavily, because it's not really that useful to not do something other than save. It'll probably be more beneficial for you to be able to expedite to that new character than being here. So guys, I hope that was helpful for you. This is my first beginner's guide for this game. If you felt like I was missing something, be sure to leave it in the comment. I'm Gacha J. This is your home for Gacha news, analysis, and reviews. Be sure to keep your eyes out on the lookout for upcoming Cookie Run content. I'm going to be doing a breakdown on my Madeline build and why it's so great, even though it's weird putting attack speed on a tank. A little bit more of a breakdown of how to understand these units, the math behind these units, and as well a tier list. So keep on the lookout. Be sure to subscribe, like, and leave me some love in the comments letting me know what you want to see related to this game, what questions you have, so I can make sure that I address them. Peace.